The current state of the climate debate is no longer an environmental issue. It is really an issue of justice. It is about equity and equitable development of everybody. The just transition refers to the industrial workers of the fossil fuel energy sector who may have to sacrifice their jobs in order for us to wean ourselves off fossil fuels as quickly as possible. But they need to be retrained, they need to be looked after, they need not to be the ones who suffer the consequences of this transition, and that's what we mean by just transition. And it's good to see that the labor unions around the world are coming on to that. They are not fighting to preserve those jobs, but they are fighting to have good and better jobs going forward. Well, I think one of the realizations that we've had over the last 30 years of being aware of the climate problem, and the climate problem getting much worse over that time, is that it is a whole of society approach. It's not something we can leave to our leaders to solve by themselves. First of all, they haven't done it, and secondly, they can't do it even if they want to do it. They need involvement of all the sectors of society, employers and employees in the formal sector, in the informal sector, people who are working there, farmers, fishers, school children, everybody needs to be involved. The good news is that's beginning to happen now. Almost everyone with some level of literacy and knowledge, general knowledge around the world, is aware of the climate change problem, is aware of the problems they are facing in their own localities and their own countries. And by the way, climate impacts are now happening everywhere, even in rich countries. So it's no longer just poor countries that have to worry about that. Even rich countries have to worry about it. And so this is a uniting factor in terms of all people realizing this is something that requires collective action, and all sectors of society need to be involved in discussing what needs to be done, obviously at the local level, at the national level, but also at the global level as well. And increasingly you see the United Nations meetings, the COPs that are held every year, are not just the government leaders who sit behind closed doors and negotiate. There are thousands of other people who go there. I don't go as a negotiator. I go as an observer, and I network with other observers. And there are many, many more people getting involved in trying to solve the problem now, which is a good sign. The question is, it's not happening fast enough. We need to make it faster. Well, politics is always a difficult process, and politics is always very short-term. Politicians have very short periods in office, and anything they do which will have fruits in the long term are very low on their priority. They need results very quickly. And so it's a very difficult thing, and that's why we haven't had as much movement as we should have had. But nevertheless, an electorate that understands the need for making investments now that will give fruits years from now are the ones that need to make their politicians understand that they will actually vote for them if they make that promise, and hopefully that will happen. It has to be addressed in a system of solidarity across the globe. If we don't have solidarity, then we cannot address it, and at the moment we don't. What we have is rich people looking after themselves, and if it costs them $1, they're not going to spend that $1. On the other hand, poor people are losing $100, and the rich people don't care. All right? So people are losing right now. The cost is being felt by poor people in poor countries, but the rich people who are causing the problem don't care. So we need them to care.